buy low, give your 3, and then I'll give my 3 before we go to the sell high. What do you have for buying low?
I tried to do this a little bit differently, and trust me, I did not buy the Ravens, the Bills, the Packers, because that's silly. Anybody could do that. I do have a 2-0 team that I'm going to buy, but it's a team that I think a lot of people aren't really sure of. So on line 3, this was discussed yesterday on the show, and we had a bunch of listeners sending texts and DMs and messages about making the parlay we talked about. Ravens to win the division, Chiefs to make the playoffs. One book was letting you do it at minus 104, and I got a bunch of bet slips about it. So awesome that people were able to find it and do it. Kansas City Chiefs on line 3. They win this week against the Giants. They're 1-2. At which point that playoff price goes from minus 190 to minus 350. But really, it's just about buying the dip on the stock. And that's why I put it on the buy list, because before the season to make the playoffs, Kansas City's minus 700. Now they're minus 190. And if you don't want to lay that, I understand. You can wheel it with other things. You can parlay Chiefs playoffs with X, Y, Z, whatever. When they get healthy and they get Rashee Rice back from suspension, it's a different team. I think it's very unfair to critique them when Hollywood Brown is their number 1 receiver and Tyquan Thornton is their best deep threat. Just not fair. I guess life isn't fair, but this is not the best version of the Chiefs. And because of that, you get the numerical dip in the price. They still have the best quarterback in the league, the most clutch quarterback, I guess, maybe not the best, but the most clutch, and a coaching staff that I believe in with Reed and Spags. So I went Kansas City on 3. Number 2, yes, this is a 2-0 team, but if I hear one more person say that Daniel Jones can't take this team to the playoffs, I'm going to get really mad, because he can, because we've seen him take a lesser team to the playoffs. This offense is just the Shane Steichen experience. Power run, strong offensive line, and then put the quarterback in a good situation. If you needed Daniel Jones to throw the ball 45 times a game, you're in trouble. But look at his box score. He's only throwing when they have to, because this team is built to run the ball, control the TOP, and put the quarterback in very, very solid situations. He's completing 71% of his passes. And they just made a Denver Broncos defense that a lot of people feel like is one of the best in the league, made it look pedestrian, right? To score as many points as they did on the Broncos, that was eye-opening for me. And I didn't find myself on that Denver side. I also didn't bet the Colts. I wanted to. I ended up on the Dolphins instead on Sunday. Joy. But I thought the Broncos were in a very, very trappy spot, and the Colts capitalized on that. Indy has also not punted in 2 weeks. The first team in the history of the NFL to do that. The aggressiveness by the coach, the ability to have a quarterback that can hit an open target. I mean, last year they're banking on Anthony Richardson, who completed like 50% of his passes. Steichen said, that ain't going to work. Get me a vet that isn't going to be, scared by pressure, that can hit an open target, and we're going to be fine. And I believe they will be fine. They're going to win the AFC South. Number 1, I think a lot of people looked at the week 1 result and thought, ooh, they're in trouble. And then the very next week, they take the smelling salt and drop 50 on Joe O's Chicago Bears. That's right. Ben Johnson's not the biggest deal in the world. We're going to find that out, I think, over the next couple of years. They got smacked by the Packers. Packers team that many people believe is a top 3 team in the NFL now. But when you look at the week 1 result on an island, you go, oh, Detroit's in trouble. And then you watch them against an average, below average team, and you go, oh, they're just fine. So now they're 1-1. Minnesota's banged up. Chicago's awful. This is a 2-win division, or a 2-team division to make the playoffs. It always has been. Some people thought coming into the year, 3-team division. 3 teams will get into the playoffs. No, it's probably 2. And it's probably Green Bay and Detroit. Defensively, Hutch is back. They're going to be fine on that side of the ball. And it didn't really take long for them to get off the mat after playing a very good team week 1 and deliver the knockout punch in week 2. So I'm buying the Detroit Lions. They are going to be just fine. I had some question marks during week 1, but those questions are all gone. I mean, a lot of teams are going to struggle against the Packers this year because the Packers D is very, very good. The Lions are fine.
All right. Number 3, buy low. This is all relative. It doesn't mean that they're going to even win the division or be in the playoffs. It means it could be a team that you might want to buy on a week to week when it comes to the point spread. You might want to. And it's 3 for a reason. This is tough. But Cam Ward was put in an awful position at Denver against the Rams. I think most people would agree that those are 2 top 5 defenses. That's how you're going to start your career. You have awful coach on your side, and you're going against 2 really tough defenses to start off. And they were beating one of those defenses in the Rams at halftime. Now they're getting 3.5 against Indy, which I find so interesting. That point spread is fascinating, which we're going to talk about a lot this week. But when I say buy, I'm talking point spread value. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs because they're not. They're not. I don't even know that he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. But I just look at it and say, okay, you competed against Denver. You covered the number. You competed against the Rams. You were leading at halftime. You end up not covering the number when it comes to the final score. But I want to see them moving forward against some softer defenses, see what Cam Ward can do then. So that's why I put the Tennessee Titans as a buy low option at number 3. Number 2, I have a squad that's 1-1. And I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys. They faced 2 tough defenses in divisional matchups. Week 1 at Philly, tough spot. CeeDee Lamb's dropping the ball all over the place. They competed, they covered the number, right? This past week, Giants. They couldn't stop the Giants. That was a problem. But you look at it, in 2 games, they've scored 60 points. Is this the offense that we're going to see? Like, that's a Giants team that can pressure the opposing quarterback. That's an Eagles team that is viewed as a top at least 10, probably 5 defense after just winning the Super Bowl. On the schedule, I see Jets, Panthers, Raiders, Giants again. There's a lot of wins there. So relatively buying on the Cowboys, whether it be ATS, maybe them sneaking in the playoffs. I don't know. I mean, if they bring this sort of offense and the main cogs can stay healthy, I think the Cowboys are going to be just fine. And when they're dogs, they're probably a team that I'm going to be betting. So buying low on the Cowboys, even though we're post Micah Parsons, people freaked out. Okay, they're done. I'm going to buy low on them. And number 1's the obvious. And you hit on a lot of the points. Let's talk Kansas City Chiefs. 3 straight losses. Is this going to continue? I'm going to say no. You get Rice back in week 7. Worthy, it sounds like he's going to come back pretty soon. No explosion on offense. Tough start. You get the Chargers and the Eagles, 2 probable playoff teams, maybe 2 Super Bowl contenders when we get there. But the Chiefs are going to be fine. They get the Giants this week. That's going to be a victory. They'll be 1-2, and everybody's going to calm down. So I got Titans 3, Cowboys 2, Chiefs 1 as far as buying low. Selling high. What you got, Sammy P?
I am not buying this team for 1 second. And you look up at the market on them to make the playoffs, and no is the big favorite. So this is sort of a cop-out, but at 2-0, you would think, oh, like Cincinnati's going to be just fine. Oh, they finally were able to win games early in season, and now your quarterback's hurt. Now your quarterback's in trouble, and he's going to miss, 3 months? Jake Browning's going to get you to the playoffs? I don't believe it. Neither does the market. How about BetMGM minus 210 on the Bengals to miss the playoffs? So this is a layup for me. I have no interest in them. I have no interest in their defense. And now I think their quarterback play is going to hold them back. Even though they're 2-0, I don't believe it for 1 second. Number 2, this team has been historically good on defense. You go back and look at the last 15 years, they've been defensive monsters for the most part. They've controlled the line of scrimmage. Secondary's been good. They keep you out of the end zone. What's going on in Pittsburgh right now? What the hell are they doing defensively? To let the Jets and the Seahawks go up and down the field? Problem. Big problem. Justin Fields, Sam Darnold carving you up. Now they've been unlucky, I think, with a couple big plays, but I don't think the quarterback's going to stay healthy. And I just don't know how you're 29th in points, 29th in yards with a Seattle team that couldn't even move the ball in week 1. And then Seattle takes care of business in your house, comes to your barn, and slaps you around. That's a problem there. So they're 1-1 right now. I think everybody is thinking that, oh, well, Mike Tomlin will figure this out. Mike Tomlin always finishes over 500, which is true. Never been under 500 one time until now. Don't think it's going to happen this year. And defensively, the holes, the gaps, they are alarming. And I don't think you can just wave the wand and fix that. So number 2 for me, Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 1, I wasn't high on this team to begin with this year. And when Vegas hung a win total of 9.5 after last season, you're thinking, oh, that's interesting because this team just went to the NFC Championship. Now the win total is only 9.5. Why? Well, natural regression's built in. But defensively, how lucky were they? They hit the lottery facing just bad and backup quarterbacks. And now their quarterback has a knee issue. That's the Washington Commanders. I don't think we're going to see Jaden Daniels this week. And the market says that. I mean, for crying out loud, Washington's only a 3.5-point favorite against Vegas. If Daniels is in, this number is almost double. You know, we're 6.5. Vegas could win, no doubt. And then the doubt kicks in. And then people start wondering, what are they? Are they tough enough? Are they resilient enough? I don't know. I don't know that I can trust the Washington Commanders. And if Daniels comes back, you got that knee potentially lingering all season long, and you also have a whole year of tape. They've had a whole season, the NFL, to prepare for this offense and prepare for this kid. And I'm shorting the Washington Commanders.
All right. I don't disagree with any of them. I don't have any of them, but I don't disagree with any of them. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Washington. Here are my 3, which I find fascinating. We're going to have to circle back to go more in on this. The Colts. I'm selling the Colts. They're 2-0. See, you're saying buying low, and I'm saying selling high, which is a very interesting angle. I'm going to have to go into more detail later on. Number 2, I'm not saying they're not going to the playoffs. I'm not saying they're not going to win their division, but I'm selling the Eagles. I'll be selling them ATS this year. And number 1, the biggest fraud that we have not talked enough about, Arizona is a 2-0 fraud. They've beaten New Orleans and Carolina by 1 score. They've been outgained in both games. I'm selling the Cardinals. I threw Philly out there. Look, it's 2 games, but we're talking 30th in the NFL in yards per play, and that's been obvious if you've been watching the games. Hurts doesn't have a passing touchdown yet. I worry about this offense, and I'm looking at projected lines, Sam, and you see 10.5 against the Giants, 7 at the Giants, 7 against the Bears, 10.5 against the Raiders. Like, there's some big numbers. Like, there's 4 games right there, at least a touchdown, getting into double digits, some of them. I think you're going to find value going against the Eagles on the spread. Of course, I believe they're going to be a playoff team. They might win the division because we're down on Washington. You know, Dallas is Dallas. They can't stop anybody. They'll score, but they can't stop anybody. But as far as betting them ATS, I am not going to be there much this year if the numbers stay where it looks like they're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, they have issues for sure at corner after Mitchell. That much is clear. And I would be looking for a team that can pass the football. The Rams come to mind. But it's funny. I don't hear one person on the Eagles this week. I haven't heard a single person on Philly. Everybody's betting the Rams. Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. Sharps, squares. Yeah. Oh, take the points. Stafford, Nakua, Devontae, that D-line, all that. The books are probably going to need Philly, believe it or not. Because, the Rams, if it wasn't snowing last year, the Rams would have beat Philly. Okay, yeah, maybe. I could be with you on an Eagles short. I hate only taking 3.5. Other books are at 3. Pinnacle's down to 3. Chris is down to 3. Bet Online, Buckeye, Jazz, all 3. So the 3.5s are turning into 3s. And I think that's a good buy low on Philly in week 3. But I think ATS wise, you're right. Like, you're going to pay a premium the rest of the year, especially if the Eagles win and cover this week.
Mhm.
Forget it. I mean, you're going to be paying such a tax. Not only are the Super Bowl champs, 3-0, and if they cover against the Rams, they'll be what, 2-1 ATS? Because they didn't cover week 1 against Dallas, and then they covered against the Chiefs. If they're 2-1 with the rings on their finger, yeah, you're going to pay that tax until further notice.